Hey everybody, welcome to Letters to Saints of Discord. I am Jables Boogly, and I might have jury duty coming up.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Also with me, as always, Rimshee and Sir's watching, and Skupp decided to pop in. So,
Hello.
Everybody here.
I'm glad I didn't decide to wear the new shirt I got yesterday.
why? Because it was green?
No, because it's got the face of one of my friends on it.
Oh.
And it
nice.
says Apple Smuggler on the bottom.
What do you guys think of my shirt?
Actually, that's got a funny story behind it. So, he was coming in from Canada, and he's a Canadian citizen, but he's recently got his green card. But he had an apple that he ate, and he was looking to throw out the core, and they didn't have anywhere that he could throw it out, so he had to bring it in with him. And as a result, he got a note on his paperwork saying Apple Smuggler.
Y2K, I don't think that works anymore. That's a well-known trick. I just ended up delaying it until August. So I have until August to figure out how to get out of it.
Like I said, if you really want to get out of it, you'll still have to lose 1 day of pay. But just go in and say, just mention jury nullification.
Yeah, here's the thing. The reason why I extended it to August is because that's the slow season for me, for my specific part of my job, and I'll have enough like vacation time saved up to pay for the day, and it's on a Friday, so I get like a 3-day weekend. So
Yeah,
So, yeah.
you lose 1 vacation day. However, you get out of it. That being said, though, jury duty isn't that bad. Depending on the case you get like one of these crazy murder cases. Ugh. But
yeah,
or one of these one of those cases where it's about someone preying on children or something like that.
yeah,
The
something
ones
that'll
that
last.
nobody actually wants to do.
Yeah. I actually did have one where it was a child abuse case, but the guy made the claim of self-defense. One thing to note, the child in this case was 15 years old, and before the actual case went to trial, he turned 16 or 17, something like that. He was either 15 or 16 and turned 16 or 17, somewhere in there. So it's not like we're
Yeah.
dealing with an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
We actually found the guy not guilty because there was enough evidence there that the kid was antagonistic and actually instigative. And the defense or the prosecution made a few well, not the prosecution itself, but the state made a few mistakes. For example, the girlfriend was a witness, but they waited like 3 months to actually get her
Rookie
her stuff.
mistake.
Yeah. That which meant that most of us looked at it and went, "Yeah, there is no friggin' way I can trust her account of events.
Yeah.
It's just not happening."
Yeah, I've just been going through a lot over the last like 3 or 4 months, and I didn't need jury duty on top of that. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, it really depends on the case you get put on.
yeah, it could be a 1-day trial. It could be a 12-week trial.
Yeah, ours was like a 2 or 3 day trial, and we determined the verdict before like We deliberated for about 2 or 3 hours, and then we were done.
Hold on, I just saw you do LSD on the window. That was fucking hilarious. I like that.
Right?
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's the thing, though. Like in my state, they'll cover your travel costs, and then you get $10 per day. That's it.
Yeah, I forget what you get. I think if the trial lasts longer than a day, it's something like $23 per day or something like that. I don't remember. It's been a while.
I started deep diving on all of it. It's just strict.
No, I'm talking
$10.
in my state. I'm just
Yeah,
talking in my state.
Yeah. Yeah, I did deep dive on it for my state. No, just $10 per day. Doesn't matter. Trial could be 6 months long. $10 per day.
Yeah, that's definitely a fucked situation.
Yeah. And then they cover the travel costs. But that $10 per day is pretty much like, I don't know if they provide lunch, but that $10 per day is like, it's not even enough to cover lunch anymore. Yeah, they need to up that. I'm missing work and doing my quote unquote civil duty.
Yeah.
You gotta. Well, here's the thing, Bar. There are a lot of companies in my state that will pay you still while you're doing jury duty. I don't know if my company's one of them, though. It might be because they're pretty good at treating their employees pretty all right. But I just don't know.
Yeah, since I'm through the union will cover that for me if
Yeah.
if I am currently working and have to go to jury duty.
Yeah, I'm checking in with HR on Monday to like see if I do have to go be on a jury, if that's covered as like paid leave.
It's not a human right. That's
If you're not working, you don't necessarily deserve to be paid. That's the thing, you know.
Yeah.
And I understand that's
It's
that's a very American mindset when it comes to it. But since I'm legally obligated to do something like this, I think it should be.
yeah.
Yeah, if you have no choice, you should
Yeah.
not be punished financially for something that you were not given an option to avoid.
I don't necessarily think that the company should be on the hook for that. But that's a whole different story altogether.
Yeah, maybe the government should pay me my salary. That's fine. But
Or
like,
at least minimum wage.
Or
no.
another idea. My idea on it is like, at the very least, the government should return any income that they would have taxed for that period to you on your next return.
Yeah. I can actually see that. That seems pretty reasonable.
On my next return wouldn't help me though, because I'm sort of paycheck to paycheck right now. And so I like, let's say the trial lasts a week. I'm
We're
fucked.
workshopping it. We're thinking.
Yeah,
ideas.
we're workshopping it. Like,
But
a return on a paycheck that still doesn't preclude you from getting it delayed or getting it dismissed or anything like that. It's just a matter of hey, since you did do this, those days are tax-free, and what would have been your income for those days gets reimbursed. So, hey,
Yeah.
you can still get it delayed if you're paycheck to paycheck, or get it dismissed if it's that much of a hardship, which, at least when I've gone to jury duty, that was one of the possibilities.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why they let me delayed, because I just literally wrote a note like, if I miss too much work, especially at this time, it will financially cripple me. You're essentially just
Yeah.
saying you're trying to fuck me in the ass right now.
More than usual.
But some
Yeah.
type of tax benefit / incentive, I think, would be a good idea.
Honestly,
No, but I
Bar,
I
I would
need the
argue for the death
money.
penalty for that.
No, but sir, the problem is I would need the money at that time
I'm
because I
not
still need to
talking
pay
about your
rent.
case in general, Jables.
Jables, shut
I'm
up
talking about in
about your
general.
case.
I'm
We
not
don't care about your
talking about your
case.
case.
Isn't it wild though? The first time I'm going to go to court is because of something I didn't do. It's just to be on the jury.
And that's assuming you even get called.
Yeah.
Like, the
I've
only
done
time I've
so
ever
much
been
shit.
called in, the only time I've ever been called in for jury duty, I got jury duty, but it it's just funny. Like, I've got obviously I've got notices before. However, most of those have been, all right, check to see if your group number is being called. And if it's not, then you don't have to come in. Well, I check, and no, my group number is not being called. Okay, cool.
Dude,
The one time I actually go into the courthouse for jury duty, I get put on a jury.
Yeah.
Every time I've gone in for jury duty, I've been put on a jury. The first time was for some dumbass that kicked his wife in the back of the head, and while she was driving
It's
on
not very nice.
the freeway. And I was like, well, you're not going to bode well from this situation, because that was the most thing, the ugliest thing that you could do to your wife and your child while in the vehicle traveling. The second time was for a guy who sold fake cocaine to an undercover DEA agent.
Nice.
And that was quite possibly, I was just like, oh, you're going to prison, and I'm gonna laugh. But I listened to the whole thing, and I voted the way I voted, but that's none of anybody's business. And that's what happened. But
I feel like the charge there should be false advertising, not not drug selling.
It's a felony. Yeah. It's a felony to do that.
Wait, did he buy or did he sell?
He sold he sold fake cocaine to an undercover DEA agent.
No, he didn't sell. Then he didn't sell anything.
No, but he
sold
illegal,
flour.
It's illegal to
false advertising.
It is illegal to furnish something that is even like proclaimed as a drug federally.
It's just one of those dumb things, though.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying it is what it is. Like, that's something that I had to deal with when I
like if I sold oregano to some junior high kids when I was in high school.
That's a felony.
That should just be counted as just trying to make a quick buck.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's pretty easy to decipher between a junior high kid and a DEA agent.
But either way, fuck the fuck the DEA. Overzealous.
Yeah, they've been doing some shady shit.
Well,
yeah, honestly, I've never been inside of a courthouse.
Like
I've been
stealing
outside of
people's
some
cash.
of them. I've been outside of some courthouses because a lot of courthouses have bushes outside of them, and that's a great place to find weapons and or drugs that people forgot that they had on them before they went in. So, by the way,
Speaking
don't
of
do
things that can
that.
be white and powdery.
If my niece is watching this right now, don't do that. It's bad. Stay off the drugs. Stay away from weapons.
But yeah,
All right.
well, the way I see it, getting back to the original thing, having the having the government pay at least minimum wage or something along those lines would make perfect sense for it. Instead of, oh yeah, you get like $20 a day, $10 a day. Like I said, I forget what California's is. I'm gonna look it up now, but like double-digit pay for a single day is kind of absurd. Especially if it's that low.
Especially for unskilled labor.
$10. I'm not even sure that can buy me a Big Mac. Like,
It can't.
no.
You're say, well, you
Jurors
guys
receive
are
$15
probably
per day
not.
starting on the second day of service. However, a pilot program in 7 counties increased the daily pay to $100 per day starting on the second day of service, with mileage reimbursement of 34 cents per mile for each way they travel to and from the court starting on the second day.
Oh, here's the extra kicker. It's $10 per day, but they won't even give it to you in cash. It's a check that's mailed to you later.
Yeah, I know.
That's some shit.
Just give me $10 cash. It's fine.
Yeah, I got $35 for 2 days of work. Like, the fact that it's $15 for an entire day. Let's assume you don't even have a full court day. Let's look at this and say that you were there for 5 hours. Just for the sake of argument.
Yeah.
That is literally $3 an hour. That is sub minimum wage.
Substantially so.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just go in that same time period. If they paid you minimum wage, depending on where you are, let's say minimum wage is $10 because I think federal is $7.50 or something like that, and depending on where you are, and like here in California, there are some places where it's $20. So let's go with 10 just to. Hi, Bubba. That's still $50 of pay for a 5-day for a 5-hour day.
I'm pretty sure that my state is one of the only ones that is not above the federal minimum wage. We've never been above it.
Yeah, let me look up my my actual pay rate. So $10 for a day is roughly 1/3 of what I make in an hour. So that's So $10 is worth about 15 minutes of my time.
Yeah. Let's see.
50 to 20. Yeah, about 20 minutes of my time. That's about $10.
Just saying. That's not very fair compensation.
Yeah. So if I'm there for 5 hours, that's about $150 that they're taking away from. 140 because I'll pay me the 10. But yeah, that's like
Yeah.
Uncle
So,
Scott- pretty bad.
Oh, excuse me.
and that's just one day. Imagine a whole week-long trial. That's
yeah,
like
so each
you're fucking
minute
stealing from me at that point.
each minute of my time is worth $1.04. We still have less valuable time than those old phone call sex lines.
Yeah. Yeah, let me see. Because I actually know I have my actual pay rate pulled up right now. So that divided by 60. Every minute for me is worth about 47 cents. Yeah, so I'm gonna use real numbers here. 21,
We're going to use American numbers.
5. Yeah, so 5 hours is $142.05 for me with my current pay rate. Before tax, obviously, but yeah. Fuck your $10 a day shit.
What was that noise?
That was me coming back into the conversation. I'm sorry, I muted.
You're fine.
I do believe that the going rates for jury pay are absolutely ridiculous.
Well, it's just like how in California the minimum or the unemployment insurance is up to $450 a day,
Yeah, that's crazy.
which is absolutely insane.
Like, if I don't know, I want to tip it one way or the other.
Like, everybody wants to talk about, like the but the civic duty aspect. Civic duty doesn't pay my fucking.
Yeah, it doesn't pay my rent.
Yeah.
Like,
I am there for the civic duty.
If you're
yes.
forcing me, if you are forcing me out of work, you should fucking compensate me for that.
I would
Yeah.
be
Like I said,
more accepting
I could understand. I could
they
understand
provided
paying
me-
the local minimum wage, but it has to be more than fucking $15 a day, more than $10 a day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because that doesn't even
that's
cover
a fucking
lunch.
pittance.
Yeah.
$10 a day isn't even enough to buy lunch.
That's what I just said. Yeah.
Period.
Now,
then
I do not know if lunch is provided or not. They might
Nope.
provide lunch.
They might provide lunch. We weren't provided lunch.
Yeah.
I was never provided lunch.
Mm.
It's like, you're forcing me to be here. You ain't feeding me, and if we're being perfectly honest, you ain't even really paying me.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a do this or go to jail obligation, and you aren't even covering any of my bills. At least pay my phone bill.
Real quick, this box that I'm tossing around right now, I thought it was another type of box that's in this game. You'll see later. But right here, actually, I'm checking the controllers because I smashed them into something while trying to smash that box.
Nice.
Like, oh no.
It's why having a clear play area is so important.
Bar has an excellent question. Can't you sabotage your selection? Bar,
Technically,
I can sabotage.
yes.
I can sabotage anything.
Like
Even my
as
own
I said,
social life.
as I said earlier, potentially the most effective way to get taken off jury duty is to mention that you know what jury nullification is. The prosecution will pull you off right quick.
There's an easier way. You just throw a wooden shoe at the judge.
But I might get.
That's assault.
I
that
might have
puts
to
you
spend
in
a couple.
jail.
No,
Yeah.
that puts you in contempt of court.
Yeah, which could put you in jail.
Yeah, but that doesn't go on your criminal record. Look it up.
Yeah, but I'd still be in jail and still miss days.
Yeah. In fact, instead of getting paid $10 a day, you'd be paying them.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. I'm just saying, like.
All right, let me
what we don't
rephrase that then. The easiest and most effective way.
Guys, we need some context here as to why Skupp feels this way. Obviously, he just sees every judge as George W. Bush, and he is just compelled to throw shoes at them.
Yeah.
It must be the Dutch in him, too, because he specified wood shoes.
Speaking of weird things that happened around George W. Bush that was flying around, do you guys remember the dildo copter?
Look up the definition of sabotage. Look up what sabotage really
God
is.
damn it.
It's throwing wooden shoes. A sabot is a wooden shoe. And to throw wooden shoes into machinery to stop the work and allow the workers a break is the commitment of sabotage.
Origins of words are fun.
Yeah.
So, that's what I was going off of. I wasn't saying I'm going to throw wooden shoes at people. Anyway, neither here nor there.
Sorry, that was a deep cut to explain that joke. That's a.
You're right. I know, the joke flew. It landed poorly, and then I had to explain it, so I feel bad.
It's okay. Don't feel bad. You just did a really deep cut. That's all. It's fine.
So, Skupp
But now I know
brought up
something
white-
else, and I'll probably make the same joke in about 4 months.
So Skupp brought up white and potentially powdery substances earlier.
Snow?
Yeah, what are you?
I'm getting hit right now.
What are you going for?
It's snowing all around him.
I'm being hit by a winter storm. It's been going.
He's experiencing a CIA winter.
Yeah. It's not really.
Words really got to you, didn't they?
It's crazier than that.
Skupp, you gotta up your energy a little bit. We're doing a show here.
Fortunately, my area is not being hit by the worst of it, but it's still snow, and I still hate it.
Yeah, which is funny because if I got 6 to 12 inches of snow and it stuck throughout winter, I'd be happy.
No, you wouldn't.
You could fucking have it.
Rimshee, you've never gone through that sort of fucking hell. Shut the fuck up.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Sir knows what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, people that think they want large quantities of snow don't know what the fuck they're asking.
No. Yeah. Like I said, 6 to 12 inches that stuck throughout the winter, but it's just 6 to 12 inches at most.
Throughout the whole winter.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
yeah. You don't know what that leads to when it melts.
It leads to ice and
in California
and
it leads
and fucking it's.
I know exactly what it leads to. You guys forget that I've been in a lot more places than just California.
Speaking of where it leads to, I think we're looking in the right area.
You haven't lived in those places though. You've been to those places. You don't know. You don't know the strife. You don't know the struggle. You don't know the struggle of the man that lives in a place that gets lots of snow.
You don't know me.
I know you pretty well.
That's
Yeah,
my
for context, I'm looking
Actually,
to
you
get
know what?
around six.
The funniest part about that is, for the roughly 11 months I lived in Florida, there was the possibility of snow in that winter. It got cold enough. It got cold enough that if it actually happened to precipitate at all that winter, it would have been snow. It just happened to be a winter where we didn't get a lot of rain.
For full context, though, I'm looking to get around 6 inches just over the course of this storm. And
Yeah.
I'm getting off easy. Because there are other areas,
Yeah.
I think, a bit to the south of me that are expecting 9 or more.
I lived in a place where it wasn't unusual. Well, you should expect the possibility of 12 feet of snow overnight.
Yeah.
I lived in a place like that.
All I'm looking for, all I really want is like a couple of inches of snow during a couple of storms and calling that good. Also, we had, in my area, we had snow over the course of 2 days. That was a good, like, 2-3 feet of snow over those 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, it shuts shit down mostly because we didn't have the infrastructure to get rid of the snow fast enough. We had to bring... We had to bring plows in, because we didn't have any.
Yeah. I mean, also, Y2K has a great point. Having to shovel 4 times in one day because it's coming down that hard will remove every last bit of love you have for winter. I used to, when I was in high school, I was the person that shoveled the snow and like mowed their lawn and shit.
Mowing your lawn in winter makes no sense.
I had a fucking snow blower, and I had to wake up at 3 a.m. to make sure whether or not it was snowing. And there was one morning I finished snow blowing the parking lot so that the mail could come in. And then I did the sidewalk, and once I was done with the sidewalk, I had to do the parking lot again. It was snowing that hard.
Yeah, I'm not interested in a lot of snow. I get how much of a pain that could be. However, if I did live in that, I would learn how to deal with it because I'm not a fucking bitch like some people. And it's not aimed at people here.
It's not about being a bitch.
I'm not talking about people
really
here.
not.
I'm talking
we're
about.
just saying.
Hear me out. Let me fucking finish.
No. Rimshee. We're saying you don't know.
Right now.
You don't know.
I will mute both of you right now while I finish this.
I'll leave the fucking show.
Hear me the fuck out before you start interrupting me. I'm talking about other Californians who went to Montana and learned that, oh, the winters here fucking suck.
No, Rimshee, stop. You were going to Montana for a visit?
I'm not talking about me specifically in that. I'm talking about Californians, because D6, my best friend who did move there, constantly is talking about how a bunch of other Californians will go up there thinking, oh, we're getting away from California, we're going to a place that's going to have a lot less taxes and all that, and then they end up getting fucking shafted by the winter and move down to Texas or some shit.
Yeah, they do the correct thing once they realize the error of their ways.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, D6 is still up there.
Well, that's fine. He's cool. He digs holes in his backyard. He's fine at shoveling some snow.
He's shot himself twice.
I only heard about the one time. didn't hear about the second time.
Yeah, so the first time he shot himself in the leg cleaning a .22 revolver because he didn't properly check the chambers.
Yeah, I heard about that one.
The second time he shot himself in the other leg because he decided instead of putting the pistol in its holster and carrying it in that way, or taking multiple trips, he was gonna carry the pistol on top of all the shit that he was walking with, and it slipped off, hit the ground, went off right through his other leg, and
Was it the revolver again?
No, he had gotten rid of that one. It was a 9mm.
Yeah, but it was still like it had to have been cocked at that point.
Yep, it's a Star firearm. It was a firearm used by the, I think, Portuguese military or the Spec Ops or something like that.
Hey,
and he thought, that's gonna make it a great everyday carry. No.
Hey, I'm cool with hanging out with your old friend and stuff. No guns.
Yeah, no guns.
No guns. Period.
Yeah, no guns, Rimshee. No guns.
He's not allowed to hold them.
No, like
no. I don't want guns within 100 yards of this person.
There won't be a gun in sight. There won't be a gun in sight. This gentleman has proven that he has not.
I don't even want him in my apartment because that's too close to guns for my comfort.
He's not worthy.
He shot himself twice.
Yeah, I've never even shot myself once.
Yeah, I've never shot myself.
Yeah, the vast majority of people don't ever manage to shoot themselves. This fucker's managed to do it twice.
Well, Rimshee and Skupper have seen. So I don't go shooting very often, but I'm very conscious about like gun safety. Rimshee and Skupper have seen me with guns. I'm very, very cautious.
Oh, I don't like everything we did with when we were hanging out was the right way.
I think the most unsafe thing that happened was almost immediately corrected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like,
and it was from the least
earlier.
knowledgeable individual in the group too, or at least one of them.
Well,
that's relatively okay because it was corrected, and then it never happened again.
The time that we're all talking about, I had a gun on me that nobody even knew I had on me.
Yeah.
But like, I wasn't gonna let it go to shit. It was gonna be a good time, and it happened to be a good time. And one person made kind of a dumb mistake, but we corrected them quickly. And it wasn't a safety issue, and that was important.
Yeah. Well, of course it wasn't going to be a safety issue. You're a gun guy. I'm not that nervous about that. Rimshee's other friend, though, I'm not going to name him or anything, but like he shot himself twice. I don't want him within 100 yards of a fucking gun.
Did I send you the pictures?
Rimshee, is this the same guy?
I sent you the pictures.
Yes, it's the same.
I told you about the second time he shot himself. I sent you those pictures.
Skupper, you know the guy.
I know the guy. Yeah, I know the guy. He's the guy that I gave one of my very nice knives to as a Christmas gift. I don't even think I've given Rimshee one of my very nice knives.
You know what's fucked up?
Don't worry, Rimshee, your day is coming, but like you have to do something.
That sounds so threatening.
you know, that does sound very threatening. You know what's fucked up? I am more afraid of somebody with a knife than somebody with a gun. But
with
I would
one obvious exception we know about.
Yes, but I would trust Rimshee's friend with a knife more than I would trust him with a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a good man.
so
He's a good man.
apparently when he called to tell me about it, his wife was like, he better not give you shit about it. He's probably gonna he said he's probably gonna give me shit.
Bullshit.
What do you fucking think I'm gonna do? I have taught I was gonna say I have taught you firearm safety. Let me rephrase that to I have tried to teach you firearm safety.
Yeah, apparently none of it clicks in. Why did you have a fucking... Why did you have a bullet in the chamber? You fucking...
Well, I mean, like
the 22
words I can't say on words I can't say on Twitch.
The 22 the 22 he at least tried to do things right. He popped the cylinder out, hit the ejection rod, and then that's the moment where he went wrong is he just closed it without checking all the chambers.
Still,
which would have been an easy. Oh, I've hit it. Now look. The 9mm incident was just a dumb move altogether.
Rimshee, I can't let you give all this graciousness to your friend when you've been so harsh on Alec Baldwin. When there was like somebody else, because it was a gun for a movie, was supposed to have everything cleared for him.
Here's the difference. The only person D6 has hurt has been himself.
Yes, but he could have hurt somebody else.
Oh, yeah, and I've given him shit for that.
Yeah.
I have given him directly shit for that. I can't give Alec Baldwin shit directly for what he's done.
Yeah, no, I remember we had a whole roast session with him.
No.
Where we made fun of him.
Rimshee,
and he still did it again.
He did it different this time. He did it worse this time.
Hey, quick question. Was this 22 revolver a type with a swing-out cylinder?
I think so, but I don't know with 100% confidence because when I had never seen the revolver, and he's since gotten rid of it because it holds bad memories. No shit.
Yeah.
It's like, the way I was going to say it's like, like, not to give Alec Baldwin any credit, but, yeah,
it was a swing-out cylinder because he hit the ejection rod.
Idiot.
And it should have popped all of the rounds out, so it had to be a swing-out.
So, the thing is, there's, with a swing-out cylinder, you can directly look down at the cylinder and see if there are bullets in there.
Well, does anybody really know how to hold a wheel gun when you inspect the chamber? Your thumb is through that hole.
Here's a problem. I'm left-handed, so revolvers don't work well with me. So
that's fair enough. Okay,
yeah.
but I'm still sure that as a southpaw, you could conduct this experiment and it would work correctly.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but
I'd have the cylinder slap against my knuckles, but
with a swing-out cylinder, you can see every single chamber because the entire cylinder is out.
Yep.
They're all there.
Yeah, he hit the ejection
So if you
rod,
somehow
he rotated it, and or he did not rotate it to look at it, which is so fucking dumb.
Yeah, just look at the chambers are right there. You can see all of them. Just look.
Yeah, but here's the thing: does Alec Baldwin know anything about guns?
He had to pass classes.
Hold on a second.
No, wait.
Hold on a second.
I actually have a very strong opinion on this, but sir, you can go ahead. I'll
hold on a second. So, the thing with Alec Baldwin, the reason why I'm making the comparison here with D6 is with D6, it was very, very easy to check to see if there's rounds in that particular revolver because it has a swing out cylinder. The Colt Single Action Army does not.
No, it does not.
No, you have to look down
It is
and you gotta
much
rotate
harder
it.
to check if that thing is loaded.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to bring it back to hot cock, bring it to the side, check to see if, and then bring it back to non-battery, and then anyway, I don't know.
And you have to open the loading gate, and then look at each
In order to view
individual cylinder.
the cylinder, yes. Yeah.
Because the only way the cylinder comes out of a single action army is if you're taking the gum apart.
Yep.
Yeah. You guys want to hear my strong opinion on this?
I think I might have heard it before, but I'll sit through it again.
Yeah. So when you're on movie sets, the actors are just doing acting things. It is the armorer's job to make sure that if they are doing any things with firearms, to make sure that they are 100% safe.
Oh shit.
And it is actually against SAG policy for actors to check everything because an actor might like slip a bullet in or something like that. So it's like, checking magazines or opening up a revolver is kind of a big no-no because everything's supposed to be checked by the armorer. That's why
in
I
my
don't
opinion,
think...
that's a dumb policy.
No. Yeah, and my
hold on.
Policy.
Hold on,
I'm
Rimshee.
still going to disagree with you.
Hold on, Rimshee. That might be a dumb policy, but is the policy, and it is the policy that Alec Baldwin was falling behind. That's why I don't think it was his fault. It falls on the armorer at that point.
I would agree.
Yeah, I don't care.
I don't care if you don't care. He was following everything that he needed to do. The armorer fucked up.
The armorer fucked up, but like still at the same time, he should have been fucking anybody that knows anything. And I'm assuming Alec Baldwin does know something about guns, because he's been in enough movies. He should at least know how they operate. Like,
there's like two actors that actually know shit about guns, and that's Will Smith and Keanu Reeves.
But Alec Baldwin is one of the actors that has passed a class specifically involving that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I can't speak to that. No, I can't cite those same things that you guys can. All I'm saying is, like, if Alec Baldwin was using wheel guns from that era of time, he should have understood how they worked and what the principle of their operation was.
Yes.
And if he failed to understand how they worked and what the principle of the operation was, then at that time,
here's an extra problem.
Both on the armor and him.
Here's an extra problem. The armorer let people go and take those guns out to go like shooting out in the desert.
That's
that should not happen at all.
That's ridiculous. That should be
those guns should never have live rounds in them. Period.
No, that's controlled property, and it just shouldn't.
Yeah.
For numerous reasons.
Yeah. I don't blame Alec Baldwin being the actor doing a test shot to be at fault necessarily. He
should have known better. He should have known better.
But it's not his job to check to see if it's safe.
That's correct. That is correct. He should know.
It's not his job on set, but it should be. It should be everyone's job to verify that a firearm they are handling is safe to handle.
I've never accidentally.
No. He's supposed to be reassured by the armorer that it's okay to handle.
I know, but do you see what I'm saying too, Jables?
I don't care.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, that you shouldn't trust anybody. I get it.
I mean,
I get that,
case
but
in
he's an
fucking
actor
point.
on set. Like, there's supposed to be so many safety precautions before
But case in
you're
point.
given a gun.
Don't trust people. Don't
Yes.
trust people when it comes to firearms.
Somebody hands you
Trust
a
Yes, but
yourself to
okay.
verify.
So it was a revolver. How did you expect him to do it? Just take out every single round and inspect that it was actually a blank?
Personally, I think I would.
They shouldn't have. They weren't
No,
even filming at the
but
time. They were just lining up the camera. It shouldn't have had a single round in it at that point.
They were doing a test shot.
Yeah, they were doing a test shot. It shouldn't have even had a round in it at that point. In fact, why the fuck
I don't disagree with you on that, actually. You know, just for the sake of filmmaking, why waste a round?
Yeah, that's money spent, and that's money that's you have to make somehow.
Hey, Katzen, thanks for the 100 channel points.
The basic facts of the matter don't change, regardless. Hollywood policy violates basic gun safety, and it is a policy of complacency that's led to accidents and tragedy.
No, the reason why the reason why the armorer is more at fault, in my personal opinion,
I don't give a shit.
Can I?
Like,
can
you've
I finish
already
my
stated
fucking-
Hollywood
Can I finish?
policy.
You've
that
already
violates
stated
gun
All
safety.
right,
that
cool.
it's policy.
Cool. I can't finish my sentence. That's cool.
Because I don't give a fuck what your point is.
Yeah, I was about to make my point until you interrupted me.
That's it. I don't care what your point is. I don't need to hear it.
Your point, you have stated it repeatedly that the armorer is more at fault because of SAG policy. You included the fact that, that way an actor can't slip in a live bullet. Yeah, technically that's true, but that just means that the armorer could, or theoretically, now you've got a scapegoat as to why an actor can claim that they didn't slip in a bullet. Oh, I'm not supposed to touch the gun to check it.
No. There's another factor to this. So a lot of actors don't know about guns, so it's the armorer's responsibility.
And that's
to
a
make
fault
sure
in and
that
of
it is
itself.
safe.
That in and of itself is an issue.
Making it solely the armorer's responsibility, making it solely one person's responsibility, is a massive fuck up in policy.
Yes, I don't disagree with you guys on that. I'm just saying why it is. I'm not
trying to argue with anybody here. All I'm saying is I think it's like this. If you want to be safe with guns, you need to know about how they work. And I think
that's why before
I think that's where this argument stems from that everybody's having, is you can't necessarily guarantee that those people know how they work.
Yeah, that's why before John Wick they had Keanu Reeves go through extensive gun training because they wanted it to look real. You know?
It's also funny how he came up with the mag flip, and it's actually one of the fastest ways to swap mags.
Yeah. Katzen, you're saying this is almost explosive as our last food debate? No, we can have way more heated debates about food, and also yes, Keanu is king.
What was
Keanu's our
last
Lord and Savior,
explosive
Jesus
food
Christ?
debate? I don't even remember.
Pretzels and bread.
Hey,
no, there was another one after that got nasty.
we had other ones. Pop-Tarts and raviolis.
If we're gonna talk,
I still fucking hate you for that.
If we're gonna talk real food, I got
wrong.
a serious question for all the users out there, and I can't see what you're saying, but I do have a serious question for you. What do you think my husband would like more? Let me ask you this: carne asada with all the fixins, like avocado chopped, lettuce, beans, rice, the whole deal, or do you think that he would rather like stuffed bell peppers?
Oh,
The thing about stuffed peppers is that they're really easy to fuck up.
that also feels more like an appetizer type thing.
Yeah,
And,
no, I think maybe I should make both. Like, should it be both? Do you think?
I mean,
yeah, do
stuffed
this.
peppers
Do the
can
stuff.
be a
Do the
meal,
stuffed bell peppers
depending
as
on
an
the size of your
appetizer.
They could be a euphemism. You don't know, cats.
pepper.
Yeah, do the stuffed bell peppers as like an appetizer, and then do the carne asada tacos.
Okay. Now I know what to do.
Yeah, you just make less stuffed bell peppers than you would have done. That's
I like it better that way. Thank you, all of you. I
This has
raised
been food recommendations with the Lesser Saints.
yeah. We're actually pretty good at advice, believe it or not.
Yeah,
Speaking of
shockingly
advice, do you want to do a column?
good.
We can. We have a few of them.
Yeah, we've got
sir,
that
is
most
is there one
recent Dear
specifically that
Abby.
you're looking at?
Hold on, I gotta pull up the list again. I was trying to make myself.
If you go to news articles, all the latest posts are backlog. So
Yeah, I know. Said I was in the kitchen.
okay.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Also, wait, Y2K. I forgot to mention this earlier. Fuck French Canada. Fuck all your Frenchy fucking bullshit. Fuck the Cajuns down in Louisiana. Fuck everybody that's derived from France. Fuck France. France fucking sucks. Go fuck
Only
yourselves. Your flag is
worse
fucking
than
white.
France is
Like-
French Canadians.
His flag was
Honestly,
white, dude.
Jables,
His
the
flag
only
was
thing
white.
worse than the French are French Canadians.
I was getting ready to say, like,
yeah.
I
French
don't think
Canadians
Y2K
are worse than the French Canadians are worse than the actual French because French Canadians think they're better because they speak French, and they're not better because the French look down on the French Canadians because they're a bunch of bitches.
Yeah, when even the frogs don't want anything to do with you, you know you're insufferable.
Yeah. Thank you, Katzen, for agreeing with me. That's
But yeah, I was gonna say, like, Y2K
at least the
Cajuns.
At least the Cajuns
Y2K
have
agrees
personality.
with you on everything. You will not find anybody that has more burning hatred for French Canadians than Y2K.
Yeah. Yeah, at least the Cajuns have personality and good fried food. That's a
Either yeah,
I'm just
either
saying,
they have
pronounce it how it's
nothing.
spelled
They have
or
nothing but
spell it how it's
contempt.
pronounced.
If you ever had properly
car-
seasoned like
cargo?
crawfish boil, oh my god.
No, Sabot.
Oh yeah, that's all about the sabotage thing. Whatever. Fuck the French.
Well, the worst thing about the French is just everything gets spelled fucking dumb.
Yeah,
Like,
rendezvous. What the fuck is that?
It's not French if there are less than 3 silent letters and 3 letters that aren't silent but aren't in the spelling.
Yeah, but they also pronounce everything like their tongue is too big. Like, I want croissant. I want croissant. I want croissant.
Last
with
time I
what?
wanted one of those, I was pretty drunk.
Yeah. French
Because
fucking
like
suck.
when somebody says they want a croissant, all I hear is I want a big cock. But oops, I said the wrong thing.
No, it's not. It's not a croissant. It's a croissant.
It's a fucking
Yeah.
croissant. Get
Hey,
the fucking
Hey,
over
French people
yourself.
out there, you have letters in your fucking alphabet. Use them. All right, we're a big anti-French community here. So yeah, use the letters in your alphabet. Don't just go. You want
Honestly, as
Rimshee will understand this complaint that I'm about to make. Like, if you need more evidence why the French suck, it's just like, You had a perfectly good word for a military rank, and then for some reason it's like, oh yeah, we're going to spell this and then pronounce it completely differently. Why do we pronounce it colonel when it is spelled Colonel? There's no R there.
That's colonel.
Where's the R?
That's
Hey,
colonel.
it's in Japan.
Where's the R?
No,
Evan? Where's the R?
It's Kono. Kono.
And here's the thing. Prior to the 16th century, the French spelled colonel Coronel. Why the
Yeah.
fuck did you change it? That makes no sense.
I'm glad that we can all agree on hatred for the French. You know, this is a real good landing board that we can all agree with.
We may
What
not
if-
agree on fucking what's his face being not guilty, but
No, guys, I'm seriously angry. I gotta be honest with you. You're hating on the French, and I get hating on the French. But you know who? There's one French person that you can't hate on. And you know who that is? Edith Piaf.
Napoleon.
Who the
No,
fuck
you
is
can
Edith
hate on
Piaf?
Napoleon. Napoleon was just
I can hate on Napoleon all I want. Fucking
I'm
normal-sized
joking.
bastard.
I don't know who you're talking about, so and you were pausing, so I just threw something out there.
Yeah, you took too long to throw it out, Skupper. What's that name again?
Edith Piaf. Edith
Who the
Piaf.
fuck is that?
It is a 1940s, like, actually, no, more like 30-esque through 40, like burlesque kind of singer almost.
Oh, you mean during the time when they surrendered to the Nazis? Yeah, don't like them. That's a...
I see how it is. You're like, yep, don't like them, don't like them. Well, they surrendered to the Nazis. Well, they go fuck themselves.
Okay.
All right, just as a small caveat to the French, most of the French issues is their government. The French people are vicious.
Okay, I hold on. Yes, I do have to say the French are very, very cool when dealing with their own government. With dealing with anything outside, they're fucking retarded.
I mean, the French response to their government is systematically just "we riot." That's French response to government.
Well, I mean, at one point, a French farmer, I forget what they were protesting, but he brought in manure and was throwing it over the desk at the official.
Yeah, the French are pros at fucking protesting. I will say that. I will give them that credit. They really do band together on that. And also, did you know that the last time somebody got their head cut off by a guillotine was in like 1979, and it was in France?
The only thing surprising about that is that they aren't still doing it.
They wheeled a guillotine up to a public official's house recently.
Yeah, they wheeled it up there. They haven't used
it. Yeah.
I don't know, Rimshee.
So I will.
Outside, they might have used it.
As much as I hate the French for the people that they are, I do respect their audacity and their what's the other word? It's the veracity to keep their government in fucking tenacity. Yes, that was the word. Their tenacity to keep their government in fucking check. I do respect that. Yeah. And that's something we can never take away from them because that's part of their culture. And I wish we had a bit more of that in our culture.
For legal reasons, that's a joke. For legal reasons, that's a joke.
All I'm saying is, back in the day, you know, there was a easy way to kind of balance all this stuff out, and that was, you know, the French government coming after you with a guillotine. And you know, if you were in America, and this is just like fake history. If you're in
Yeah.
America, you know that guillotine come rolling after you, and you better watch out for it because it'll come get you if you're not careful.
For legal reasons, that's a joke. For legal reasons, that's a joke.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite lines, though. Like there's so many good lines in History of the Entire World, I guess, by Bill Wirtz, where it's just like, "Hey, if France was broke, why did the king and queen wear such fancy dresses? Let's take over the palace and cut everybody's head off," said Robespierre, who started cutting everybody's heads off until somebody got mad and cut his head off. "You can make a religion out of it." No, don't.
Oh yeah, that's it's from the History of the World.
Yeah, History of the Entire World, I guess, by Bill Wirtz. One
Yeah.
of the single greatest videos ever committed to YouTube.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, go watch it. That's a History of the Entire World, I guess.
Very informative and fucking hilarious.
Yeah, no.
Surprisingly accurate. I one of my good pastimes is watching historians watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, they got the Saxons just right.
Oh, and another one of my favorite lines.
The sun
Another
is
one
a
of my
deadly
favorite lines,
laser.
though. Yes, that one's great. No.
Thank you, cats. Rimshee and Jables finishing each other's sentences like a true bromance.
Yeah.
Like,
what, you think we've been doing this so long and we don't love each other?
I mean,
Another one of my
admittedly, he still
absolute
hasn't seen me
favorites, though.
naked, but that's a whole other issue.
Oh God, I don't even.
That's because he's a tease.
But another one of my favorite lines, just because of how it's structured, and also because I told it to Barr once, and he's like, "Motherfucker." Is there's a point in the History of the Entire World, I guess, where it goes, question 2, steal the spice trade. That's not a question, but the Dutch did it anyway.
Yeah. No, Kat's Rimshee hasn't sent me his nudes, and his wife won't send them to me either. So, like,
yeah, it's his
forgot.
biggest
that's
complaint.
between you and him. Yeah.
The best joke that would piss off Barr from History of the Entire World, I don't think I ever told to him.
Oh, the one when they're talking about Portugal.
Yeah, he's like, it's like they're doing a good job of conquering Iberia, which will soon be called Spain and not Spain.
I still call Bar Spanish sometimes.
Please remain Christian. We will check in on you when you least expect.
Yeah.
Ah, fuck. Where were we?
Lost
know.
in the sauce as usual.
Advice column.
We're just having fun.
Yeah, which
one are
one
you
did you
looking at?
want to do?
The one that I was looking at was the Hulse pulling the plug on the Night Sky event.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
For just real quick, BIL stands for brother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm ready if you guys are.
Yeah, whenever you want to go, sir.
Dear Lesser Saints, host pulls the plug on adults-only Night Sky event when brother-in-law adds 3 pre-teens to the mix. I've been an amateur astronomer for 25 plus years. I always go meteor watching as well as observe any celestial event. This year I invited my brother-in-law and his wife to watch a meteor shower with my husband and me. Since we both have campers, I reserved and paid the deposit for 2 camping sites at a nice location, close to some of the best night skies. The reservations were made more than a month ago. My sister-in-law, who I dearly love and have been good friends with for more than 20 years, called me yesterday to let me know my brother-in-law had invited 3 of their preteen granddaughters. I thought they understood it would be an adult event, as we'll be up half the night and traveling 30 minutes to get to the Dark Sky site. I do this every year. I told my sister-in-law that my brother-in-law should have asked me first, since I invited them and made all the arrangements for this event. We talked on the phone for 90 minutes before I told her my brother-in-law was wrong for not asking me first if it was okay. Moments after we hung up, she texted me and said to cancel their reservation because they would not be attending. We are driving 90 miles to this campsite. They live 30 minutes from it. Was I wrong to tell her I should have been asked first, since I am the hostess for the 2 days and nights? Starry-eyed in the West.
Okay, how clear were they that it was going to be an adults-only event? That's my first question.
Also, when you say adult-only event, that sounds like some swinger shit.
It does. Obviously, it's not given the context of this, but yeah, it's
kids.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like, how were you clear with them that you had planned on this being an adults only thing? Grown-ups only? We'll go with grown-ups only. That doesn't sound any better.
Yeah, let's do like 18 plus.
That doesn't sound any better.
None of it sounds good. Neither way you cut it, it doesn't sound good.
Yeah, it sounds like a swinger event, regardless. Dude, I'm wearing a shirt that says local sex pot.
I'm saying duct tape. It can't fix, or I'm wearing a duct tape. It can't fix stupid, but it sure can muffle the sound.
Yeah.
I need.
Dude, I got a block of cheese and a knife. You want to see?
A what?
But yeah, this is like a huge part of this is how clear were you that you were intending this to be an adults only sort of situation, and like, oh yeah, you're gonna be staying up half the night. Dude, it's a fucking awesome meteor shower. Why wouldn't the kids want to watch?
Because they're fucking Gen Z and they don't give a fuck about anything.
You don't know if they give a fuck or not.
You're right. But
I don't anymore. As an old man, I don't know if I give a fuck. I can't.
Like if I were to be
but
invited to something like this,
having children on the trip is always a distraction. Period.
yeah, absolutely. Preteen. Like, what was this? Did they say preteen, or am I making that up?
3 preteen girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're looking at like 10, 11, 12.
That's like, you know, like if they were traveling with me, they might end up in a ditch somewhere on the side of the road.
I was going to say, like, that immediately sounds.
That's a joke. For legal reasons, that's a joke.
It's like 3 preteen girls. It immediately sounds like a nightmare to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even ignoring that, it's like, if they were teenagers, maybe.
If they were like 15, 16, 17, something like that, sure. Whatever.
The only reason I'm
13.
saying this is I just don't get any of that humor anymore. Like I can't even.
That's because you're old. That's because you're old at Skibbity Toilet or whatever the kids say. I don't know.
Ohio Scooby Toilet. Yeah.
Yeah, we're old.
Riz.
I watched like the first little bit of that out of curiosity.
Hey, any young kids listening to this, I'm trying to relate to you. All right, subscribe to the channel.
No, I don't care. Like the generation that made that popular, you're all fucking idiots, and we need the meteor.
Yeah, hey, I'm.
Is the meteor just something that cleanses us all of the stupidity? forever and ever.
I'm just saying, after a certain point, we have to start questioning whether or not the human race should be allowed to continue to exist.
Yeah,
I mean,
my-
either way,
I don't know. My niece is pretty chill. She's just doing like arts and crafts projects on stream.
ultimately, either way, you're dealing with preteens on a trip. You can say that it's an issue because they are.
It doesn't matter where you go; they're gonna suck.
They've unless they are like the most nerdy, we're into this astronomy stuff ever. Yeah, it's gonna suck.
Yeah,
They're gonna be a problem. Like, oh yeah, you want to spend more time. But even with that, I will make the point of: did you make it clear what your intentions were? That it was a no kids event. Because that does play a role.
Based on the title, they said that, but like, yes, we do not know.
In the text, like in the text, it doesn't specify that they said that anywhere.
Yeah.
I think the second paragraph, well, actually the third paragraph, is where we need to kind of focus here.
That's kind of what I'm doing. Like, right here. Oh, wait, no, not this one. This one right here.
Because the way she phrased it is that I thought they understood it would be an adult event, as we'll be up half the night and traveling 30 minutes to get to the dark sky site.
No, you shouldn't expect
this
that.
highlighted section right here.
Okay, this is not explicit.
That you did not specify.
Yeah, it was not explicitly explained to be an adults only thing. You're the asshole.
Yeah.
When you say I thought they would have understood because of circumstances, that means you didn't specify.
Yep.
Yeah.
You just outed yourself. You fucked up.
Going with the since I invited them and made all the arrangements for the event, they should have asked me. Are you fucking serious?
If you want to have something that's like an adult thing with like adults looking through a telescope at stars or whatever, it's very simple. Are there kids or no kids? Make that known.
Yeah, like if I were to invite Rimshee to something, I'd be like, "Hey, I want to hang out. I want to hang out like you and me, no kids, and I even potentially say no wife, even though I really do like your wife.
Yeah,
but like I'd be like,
but there are times where it's just gotta be the boys.
Clear. I'd be very clear on what I was expecting my experience to be, and not putting that on you to just assume.
The call here should have been, I'm inviting you guys out to this thing. Find a babysitter because I want this just to be us.
But it's also the grandkids.
I want a nice peaceful moment.
It's also in this case, it's also grandkids. So it's not like they have that limiting factor of we need to find a babysitter. The parents are the fucking babysitters.
It's like it could have been like sorry, we can't take the grandkids this weekend. We're going to do something.
Yeah, it could have been a simple.
Hey, I thought it was their kids, not grandkids.
No, they're preteen granddaughters.
Oh yeah, fuck them.
Yeah,
like it might be cool. Okay, wait. Hold on. Let me time out. Let me readjust my statement on that. It's on you to say like, hey, we just want to do this as adults with no extra baggage.
Yeah, you should have specified.
But it's also on the grandparents to be like, hey, we want our grandkids to see these cool things. And then it comes back to you to say again, nah, fuck your grandkids. They're not going to appreciate it anyways. Not in those words necessarily, but like,
So there was a complete failure in communication here.
Yeah. You started off by failing to communicate that this was what your intent of this event was.
Yeah, you just wanted to have like a nice peaceful night, drinking some wine, looking at the stars, seeing the meteor shower, all that jazz.
Are we
Like
able
I
to?
will say, I will say both sides are at fault. Made mistakes here. You made the very first one,
Yeah, but
and
not
then
specifying adults only.
and then they made the next one, and now you're both in the middle of making mistakes. Like it's one of those things where you've just kind of fucked everything up by not communicating ahead of time the intent.
Yeah. So, like, I can kind of see it from both sides here. It's like, you should have specified that, that you didn't want any children or anything there. At the same time, your brother and sister-in-law should not have just assumed it's like, oh, we're just going to bring the grandkids. And not tell them that we're bringing the grandkids.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
it sounds like their vibe got harshed pretty bad.
I'm so like pro communication that I DM'd Rimshee earlier today. I was like, hey, there's a lot of politics stuff. Do you mind if we just like dig it into the backlog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like sometimes not telling the partner leads to a funny bit, but more often than not.
Yeah. Rimshee, even when he came to visit, like I was adamant about the communication, about like where you staying, when you coming here, when you picking me up. Like Skupper, you were there too for that. Like,
yeah, it was very much a hey, here's all the info we have. It may not be perfect, but here's the info we have.
Yeah.
All worked out pretty well as far as I thought.
Yeah. Oh no, it worked out great because the communication was there.
Yeah. There was nothing.
The best advice that we can give in this particular scenario, you need to fucking talk to people.
Yeah.
You need to talk to each other.
Yeah.
Don't.
And
people are stupid, so don't assume they understand. Yeah. People.
I almost said be Pacific. I meant to say be specific.
Yeah.
I mean, you live near the Pacific, so it's a common mistake.
People are stupid, so assume that they're not going to fully comprehend what you're trying to do. Don't assume they're going to understand your intent by inviting them out. Like, let's assume that they've got preteen grandkids, and let's assume there was no teenage pregnancies. Well, I mean, they could be 18, but whatever. Let's assume that the couples are the same age and they just happen to marry partners who were the same age as their sibling. So, whatever that is.
And they just wanted a chill night just themselves.
But oh no, here I'm not done. So let's assume that they are roughly the same age. The wives are roughly the same. The two wives are roughly the same age. They both had kids at around 18, 19. And then their kids had kids at 18, 19. The earliest they could be would be 50s.
Yeah.
And let's assume there's no teen pregnancy and that the children got married and had kids, or at least just had kids at 18 or 19.
Yeah, and let's also assume like their plan was just a little wine and cheese under a meteor shower, and just like having a good time because they're all close.
But if I'm having a little wine and cheese under a meteor shower with my friends and family, and then all of a sudden all these children come up, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. All right,
my
cats,
point
go
is
to
the
bed,
youngest they
bitch.
could be is in their 50s.
All right, cats,
barring teen
bitch.
pregnancy.
Go to fucking bed, you fucking hag.
Barring teen pregnancy, the earliest they could be,
I
the
bet
youngest
your
they could be
tits
was
sag to the
would
fucking
be in
floor.
there. God damn
Can you tie him in a knot? Can you do it, Dosey Doe?
Cat is fucking leaving, Rimshee.
Yeah, I'm giving her a send off. Jesus Christ, Rimshee.
Oh, cats is leaving. Okay.
Cat, Bravo.
Do your tits hang low? Do they scrape upon the floor? Can he tie him in a knot? Can he tie him in a bow? Do your tits hang low? Can he do it? Does he do? Do your tits hang low?
Yeah, I'm not
Nailed
in the chat when I'm talking usually.
I was actually looking in the chat too, so for once I actually understood what the hell was going on.
But the youngest they could be is in their 50s. Which means
and
theoretically
I'd
you
argue
could
they
believe,
might be in their 60s.
I'm
So-
saying youngest. And that if everyone had a teen pregnancy in this situation, it's possible that they're in their late 40s. But it's still the earliest is going to be 50s. We're probably looking at 60s. Especially with having been an amateur astronomer for 25 plus years. Unless they started in their teens, then we're definitely on the plus side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wanted a quiet picnic with wine and cheese while watching a meteor shower.
Space laser.
That's
You're talking to another couple who is also probably in their 50s or 60s, and
that
they've
wants
got,
their grandchildren to see a fucking really cool meteor shower from a good place.
Yeah.
I get that.
which I understand that too. I can understand that. It's the fact that you've gone this long and haven't learned that communication is key.
Yeah.
How can you be 50 and still not understand that a little extra both sides, a little extra communication goes a long way. I mean, I'm not always the best communicator with my wife when it comes to stuff. I will freely admit that. She's not the best communicator with me when it comes to stuff sometimes. I'm sure she'd admit that too. But when we find out that there's a miscommunication, we at least talk about it and try and fix the issue before it happens again.
Yeah, Dina and I do the same thing because we're not good at communicating with each other. We're better than most people because we take the time to find out where the break in communication is, and then we, address it.
I mean, sometimes
like
it's
you and your
simple
wife do.
as
But like
sometimes it's as simple as, hey, I meant to say this, but I actually said this, or hey, I said this, but you heard that. Sometimes it's that simple where it's just misstatement or mishearing. Those really suck because they're hard to fix.
Yeah, no, it's a. Yeah, I'll put this on blast. I don't care. Yeah, for me with Dina recently, it's been her not saying things to me, and just like, yeah,
Now, I'm going to make a small
Thank you,
assumption
Skupper.
here. I'm going to make a small assumption here that the person who sent this in is a woman.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah, of
would
course.
almost guarantee.
And that the brother and sister-in-law here are your husbands.
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to use this as an excuse, but just, because I am one and I know how this works. You cannot expect your husband to communicate things, even to his brother, for you.
No,
Yes.
that's a mistake.
That is totally fair. I would.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. There's nothing like.
If it's something you are planning, do not expect your husband to understand all the nuances to be able to communicate it properly.
Yes.
For the most part, when it comes to us men, we only talk to each other when it's absolutely necessary most of the time.
I mean, how big of a how often have you seen, well, did you ask them this?
No.
Why would I?
Oh, I ran into a situation where on Christmas I went down to my cousin's with my sister and her boyfriend and and a friend of ours, and we were gearing towards the end of the night, and my sister's boyfriend started asking my cousin, like, hey, is it okay if we crash here? And I'm like, dude, we talked about this beforehand. Like, I have to get home tonight. Like, I have work tomorrow. If I don't work tomorrow, I don't get paid for today. And then if I don't get to work tomorrow, then I don't get paid for today, and I don't get paid for tomorrow. And it's really fucked up. And this was something that we had discussed like a week beforehand. Like, I have to be home at like, I can get home late, but relatively reasonable time. And it ended up turning into this whole fucking argument. Yeah. I don't know where I was going with that.
Communication, sometimes you have to be able to listen.
And also,
Yeah,
just, like,
but that's a
again,
point where I had
recognize-
to assert myself and be like, we talked
Yeah.
about this, dude.
Yeah. But like
Well,
in this lady, I'm assuming this
should we
lady's
read
case,
the
it's like,
response?
realize your husband, he ain't talking to his brother about shit. It's not that they don't love each other. It's just that men don't communicate the same way that women do. That's just how it is. Especially older men.
Like, I don't know, like I have the same problem with my husband. Like, you know, we'll talk about something and then I'll completely entirely forget about it because I dismiss it as dude talk and not like male female
Something
talk.
that you need to stash
Hey,
away for later because it'll be relevant.
Precisely, and I screw my own crap up plenty of times because of that, and it's the truth, and I know I'm not good at it, but I'm trying to be better.
Yeah, that happens with me and Dina. Like, I get a general vibe of how she's feeling and stuff, but I forget all the specifics. And like,
And you don't always follow up on that vibe either. You're just like,
well,
it's probably not.
I'll follow up on the vibe, but yeah, but I forget all the specifics. It's just like, hey, you doing better? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but
Should
I was
maybe
just
we
I'm a
saying,
bad
like,
read
boyfriend,
Abby's
who knows?
response?
that's
Huh?
another thing that happens. Is like, maybe I should ask about that. Forgets to ask about that.
What do you think Abby's response is?
So, your brother-in-law should not have invited anyone along without clearing it with you first. What they did may have been well-intentioned, but it was also rude. If any of those girls show an interest in astronomy in the future, you might choose to invite them for this kind of event, but their presence should not have been sprung on you the way it was. Okay, you're only giving advice to one side here, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't disagree with you, but the situation
It's
is
a half
also
measure.
on the person sending the question.
Yes,
It's a
the
stroke
invite
to ego.
the inviter should have put the stipulations down, which doesn't seem is what happened.
Like, yes, they should have talked to you before giving a solid invite to the grandkids. Absolutely. You should have also made it clear what your intentions were.
Yeah.
The communication needs to be there. And yeah, it was a half-hour long conversation. And now I think the stupidest part right here is we are driving 90 miles to the campsite. They live 30 minutes or 90 minutes and they live 30 minutes from it. What the fuck does that have to do with them going?
But anyway, like I said, in this case, Abby, it's like what you said, not wrong. Don't disagree.
Also not
but
right.
You're not helping this person by not making it clear to them that they're also at fault in this situation. You're not helping anyone grow here.
Yeah.
It's a half answer at best.
You're not even really giving advice here. You're just validating the feelings of the person that wrote in.
Hey, anybody
and
that's
not
watching,
helpful.
Anybody that's watching this, send this to whoever wrote in. And
Yeah, because like I don't know you, but like having read what you sent in and like I said, I'm not going to validate your position. I just want everybody to be able to grow from this.
Yeah, based on the information we were given, I think we gave pretty good advice.
I like to think
I
so.
do want to know more information though.
Yeah,
Like,
I
what
think
was
we sussed
actually
out a lot of the
communicated
info.
between you guys?
I think we sussed out a lot of the info we need, though. Like, for example, we have a very clear statement here of, I thought they understood.
Yeah, which means you didn't communicate it directly.
That's a red flag. That
Unless
like,
you communicated it. Yeah, unless you directly communicated it, and they still did this, and we didn't understand, then, but more often than not, when you see something like that, that's not what you said. More often than not, it's, I thought it was obvious.
And that's the thing, is that you cannot make assumptions.
Yeah.
Like, I thought they understood it would be an adults-only event when I said that just the 4 of us. That would be one thing. That would also validate being upset, more so validate being upset that they invited their grandkids. But just, hey, we'll be up half the night and traveling 30 minutes to get to the dark sky site. That's not a good...
To just assume that they will read that as don't bring children, you can't do that.
Yeah. I mean, you maybe could make a little bit of an assumption if it was like a school night for sure, but
yeah, but if it's on the weekend and it's if like the parents are going
summer
out for
break
date night,
or fall break, Christmas break, any of those things.
If the parents are going out for like date night, and it's like, hey, we got the kids, you know, like
yeah, that's why they should reach out first before giving the solid invite.
Yeah, they should have communicated that back.
Yeah, they should communicate it to you, and you should have started out with better communication so that they knew, hey, this is going to be more of an issue than we obviously thought it would.
Hey, all 4 of you fucking suck. How about that?
Yeah. Again, Abby's advice is half advice at best.
Like I said, like it basically just validates what the person wrote in. What Abby told this person is not going to help them grow in any way. It's not going to really resolve the situation going forward.
Yeah. How do we keep giving better advice than all these other advice columns?
Well, for one thing,
I don't know, maybe because we got
minutes.
3 people to bounce our ideas between before we start giving advice.
Yeah.
Well, that's one factor. Also, we don't have like 30 seconds to write a blurb about a paragraph long. We take all the time we want. Technically, right now, we're 10 minutes over our time frame.
Well, the thing is, like, we have seen instances where, like, clearly they were thinking about what they were going to write, but what they wrote was fucking horrific.
Yeah.
Like, the case, the most infamous one was, like, the "You're Not My Real Mom" one. That was horrific.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That one was just fucking garbage. Like, it's not...
what the
it's like, you are going to cause this woman to be hated by her child. How the fuck did you fuck this up so badly?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And with that, we've been here. Let's just say it's a Discord.
First show of the new year.
I'm Jables. There's Rimshee. Sarah's watching. Follow me on Twitter at JablesBoogly. JablesBoo.
Oh shit! I forgot to start playing the. I forgot to play the background sound.
Oh. Yeah, don't worry about it.
We didn't have too much dead air this episode.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, you don't have to follow Rimshee or Skupper or Sir.
You won't find me. Don't look.
You won't find me either.
Skupper's not even there.
I
And
don't
Sir
exist.
isn't even there.
I don't exist.
Yeah.
I exist on there, but only because it's a notification machine for me.
Yeah.
I'm Jables' desk light, actually. I'm just out of frame.
I'm just one of those old people that you don't find anymore. You know, the ones that'll give it to you hard, but won't treat you badly.
That sounds sexual.
Yeah. We'll be
That's not what
back
I
same
meant at
time,
all.
same place. Next week.
Later, everyone.
Bye or bye.